Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mufti Menk, and I welcome you to this peaceful corner of reflection, a sanctuary for your soul. Here, we remind ourselves to focus on what truly matters: your faith, your peace, and your connection with Allah. Together, we'll learn to walk silently with sincerity, to trust Allah's timing, to let go and let Him guide, and to protect our light from the noise of this world. Each reminder is a gentle call to return to what's pure silence, patience, and trust. If you're seeking calm in a noisy world, hope in hard times, and wisdom that touches the heart, you're in the right place. Subscribe, share this space with others, and let's walk this journey of light and reflection together. Silence is a shield, not surrender. There is a sacred strength in remaining quiet when your heart is misunderstood, when your intentions are doubted, when your words are twisted. It is in those moments that silence becomes your most powerful defense, not against people, but against your own ego. The world teaches us to speak louder, to justify, to prove ourselves at every turn. Yet, Allah teaches us that true peace lies in restraint, in knowing that our worth is not defined by noise, but by sincerity. When you stop explaining yourself to every voice, when you stop chasing validation from hearts that cannot comprehend yours, you begin to discover the quiet confidence that comes from being seen only by Allah. The Prophet said, "Whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let him speak good or remain silent." This is not weakness, it is wisdom. Every word we utter has a weight. Every reaction we give shapes our inner world. Sometimes silence is not about walking away, it's about rising above. It's the calm refusal to let your peace be stolen by chaos. You are not obligated to respond to every insult, nor to defend your purity in front of those who thrive on misunderstanding. When you choose silence over argument, you are not losing the battle, you are winning the war within yourself. There are times when silence speaks louder than words ever could. It tells the world, "I trust Allah to handle what I cannot explain." You surrender your need to be right in people's eyes and instead seek to be right in Allah's sight. That is liberation. The moment you stop explaining yourself to the creation and start confiding only in the Creator, your heart finds rest. You realize that not every truth needs to be spoken, not every attack deserves an answer, and not every moment demands a reaction, because Allah knows, and when Allah knows, that is enough. When your silence comes from faith, not fear, it becomes worship. It becomes a form of Sabr. You might be quiet on the outside, but inside you are saying, "Ya Allah, you are my witness, you are my protector, you are enough for me." That quiet doe whispered through pain, that tear hidden from the world, that patience in silence, all of it is recorded by the one who never forgets. Allah sees the storms you endure behind your smile, the words you swallow to keep peace, the dignity you preserve by walking away. And He will honor you for every moment you stayed silent for His sake. In silence, you find space to listen not to the world, but to your soul. The noise of comparison, judgment, and competition fades, and what remains is clarity. You begin to understand that silence is not emptiness, it is depth. It gives your heart room to breathe, to reflect, to reconnect with Allah without the interference of worldly distractions. The Quran reminds us, indeed, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Silence creates that sacred space where dhikr can echo in your heart, where peace can settle like gentle rain upon your spirit. When people misunderstand you, let them. When they speak behind your back, stay still. When they twist your words, smile inwardly and whisper, "Hasbun Allah, huwa ni'mal wakil, Allah is sufficient for me, and He is the best disposer of affairs." Because silence is not defeat, it's dependence on Allah, not on the approval of people. The one who defends you best is not your tongue but your Lord. The one who justifies your intentions is not your speech, but your patience. It takes greater courage to stay silent than to react. It takes greater faith to trust Allah's justice than to seek your own revenge. Sometimes silence is the most eloquent form of prayer, a submission of your situation to the one who sees what others overlook. You may not be able to change people's hearts, but you can protect yours. You may not be able to control their words, but you can control your response. That restraint is strength. That calmness is power. Remember, silence is not about absence, it's about presence. It's about being deeply present with Allah even when the world misunderstands you. It's about guarding your tongue so that your heart stays pure. It's about choosing the peace that comes from divine awareness over the satisfaction of temporary victories. You are not weak when you walk away, you are wise. You are not passive when you stay silent. You are spiritually disciplined. Every time you hold your tongue, every time you respond with silence instead of anger, every time you turn your heart to Allah instead of people, you polish your soul. You are preparing it for the serenity that comes only from nearness to Him. In a world that glorifies noise, silence is your sanctuary. Protect it, honor it. Let your stillness be your strength, and your trust in Allah be your voice. Because silence, when rooted in faith, speaks to the heavens. It tells your Creator that you trust His plan more than your pain. It declares that you are content to be unseen by people as long as you are known by Allah. And in that sacred stillness, your soul whispers what words never could. Ya Allah, I am yours. Focus on what you can control your soul. Life feels heavier each time you try to please the world, each time you allow the opinions of others to dictate your peace. The truth is, no matter how much good you do, there will always be someone who misunderstands you, someone who doubts your intentions, someone who will find fault even in your sincerity. That is the nature of this world. But Allah never misunderstands. He knows what lies within your heart, what you conceal, what you endure, and what you silently pray for. That is why the believer learns to shift his gaze inward, not toward the chaos of people's opinions, but toward the calmness of his own soul. The most exhausting life is one lived for validation. When your happiness depends on approval, you hand over your peace to others. One day they lift you with praise, the next they crush you with criticism. You begin to live in reaction, not reflection, but the heart that seeks Allah's approval finds stability. It no longer trembles when the world turns away, because it knows that the gaze of Allah is enough. Allah does not look at your appearance or your possessions. He looks at your heart and your deeds. That is where your true worth is measured, in the quiet intentions that only He can see. You cannot control what people think, but you can control what you feed your soul. Every day you can choose what thoughts you allow to dwell in your heart. Will they be seeds of bitterness or blossoms of gratitude? You can decide how you respond with anger or with patience, with pride or with humility. You can decide how you treat others, whether you mirror their darkness or reflect the light of your faith. Your soul is your responsibility, and that is where your energy belongs. Anchor yourself in purification. When your heart feels restless, return to the one who cleanses it. The act of tazkiyah, purifying the soul, is not about perfection, it is about sincerity. It is washing away resentment with forgiveness, replacing envy with contentment, and quieting arrogance with gratitude. Every prayer you make, every tear you shed in secret, every moment you choose patience over reaction, these are acts of purification. They may seem small, but in the eyes of Allah, they are monumental. When the Prophet faced insults, rejection, and mockery, he didn't chase validation. He didn't lose his peace trying to prove himself. He turned his heart toward Allah, seeking only His pleasure. That is the essence of strength. To stand firm in faith when the world doubts you, to stay kind when others are cruel, to continue doing good when no one notices. You are not here to impress people. You are here to serve Allah with sincerity. The soul becomes lighter when it surrenders. When you stop trying to control what was never yours, people's opinions, the outcomes of your plans, the pace of your success, you make space for serenity. Life was never meant to be controlled, it was meant to be trusted. Allah's decree will unfold exactly as He wills, whether you worry or not. But when you surrender that control to Him, you discover a peace that cannot be shaken. Tawakkul is not giving up, it's giving over. It's the quiet conviction that whatever Allah chooses for you is always better than what you could have chosen for yourself. Prayer is the anchor of the soul. It is the moment when you let go of the world and cling to Allah. When you bow your head in sujood, you release your burdens onto the ground where they belong. You remind your heart that no problem is bigger than the one who created you. Every salah resets your perspective from the chaos of life to the calm of divine remembrance. When you pray sincerely, you realign your soul with its purpose. You stop seeking validation from people who don't understand you, and you start seeking closeness to the one who created you. Patience is another form of strength. When people hurt you, patience is not weakness, it's wisdom. It means you refuse to let anger control you. You refuse to let pain dictate your peace. The Prophet said, "Patience is light. It illuminates your path when everything around you feels dark." It teaches you that every delay, every disappointment, and every heartbreak has divine timing hidden within it. You may not see it now, but Allah's wisdom unfolds with perfect precision. When your heart feels unsettled, remember this. Your worth was never tied to how others perceive you. Your peace is not found in being understood, but in being sincere. Do good even if no one notices. Be kind even if it goes unreturned. Forgive even if no apology comes, because you are not doing it for them, you are doing it for Allah. The soul finds freedom when it stops seeking repayment from people and starts expecting reward only from its Lord. The journey inward is not easy. It requires discipline to silence the ego, humility to accept your flaws, and consistency to keep striving. There will be moments of doubt, moments when you slip, moments when your heart feels dry, but never lose hope. Allah's mercy is wider than your weakness. His forgiveness is greater than your mistakes. Every time you turn back to Him, no matter how many times you've fallen, He welcomes you with love. That is the beauty of this relationship. It is built not on perfection, but on persistence. When you focus on your soul, you begin to live from a place of clarity. You start choosing peace over pride, purpose over distraction, sincerity over validation. You no longer measure success by likes, recognition, or status, but by how close your heart is to Allah, and that closeness cannot be taken away by anyone. The more you invest in your inner world, the less the outer world can shake you. The more you feed your soul with remembrance, the less hunger you feel for approval. So, take a deep breath and let go. You were never meant to control everything. You were meant to grow, to purify, to trust, and to keep walking toward Allah even when the path feels uncertain. Anchor your heart in Him, and everything else will fall into place. Focus on what you can control, your soul, and leave the rest to the one who controls it all. And when your heart whispers, "What about me?" remind it gently, Allah knows. Trust Allah's timing, even in delay. There will be moments in life when you pray with tears streaming down your face, when you plead with Allah to open a door, to remove a burden, to answer a desperate dua, and silence meets you. The heart begins to wonder, why not now? Why is it taking so long? Yet in that silence lies mercy. What you see as a delay is often divine protection. What you interpret as rejection is in truth redirection. Allah withholds not because He has forgotten you, but because He loves you too much to give you something that would harm you before you are ready to hold it. Every believer walks through seasons of waiting. It could be a job that doesn't come, a relationship that doesn't work, a dream that seems just out of reach, and each time the ego whispers that maybe Allah has turned away. But the soul knows better. The soul whispers back, "Be patient, your Lord never delays without wisdom." When a door closes, it's not the end of your story, it's the beginning of a better one that you cannot yet see. Allah is crafting something beyond your understanding, shaping your heart, your circumstances, and your destiny in ways you will only appreciate later. Sabr is not sitting in sadness, waiting helplessly for change. It is a quiet strength that says, "My Lord knows, my Lord is in control." It's the kind of patience that trusts even when the heart aches, that continues to make dua even when answers seem distant. Patience is not passive, it's active trust. It's faith in motion. It's waking up every morning with the conviction that Allah's plan is still unfolding, even when life feels still. When the Prophet was driven out of Makkah, humiliated and rejected, the victory of Islam seemed impossible. Yet Allah's plan was not delayed, it was being prepared. Every hardship, every migration, every test was a piece of a puzzle that only made sense when viewed through the lens of patience. The same applies to your life. What you call a delay might be a preparation. Allah is not just preparing the blessing for you, He is preparing you for the blessing. Sometimes Allah holds you back because He knows the path ahead is not safe yet. He knows that if you received what you wanted too soon, you might lose it, misuse it, or be consumed by it. So He protects you by delaying. That's mercy in disguise. The believer who trusts Allah's timing learns to say Alhamdulillah, not only when doors open, but also when they close. Because both are forms of guidance, the delay teaches humility, purifies intentions, and strengthens faith. It teaches the soul that your timeline is not divine, Allah's is. There's a beauty in surrendering to divine timing. It removes the anxiety of control and replaces it with the serenity of trust. You stop rushing what Allah is still preparing. You stop forcing what was never written. You start understanding that waiting is not wasted time, it's sacred time. It's the space where Allah refines you, cleanses your heart, and molds your character, so that when His decree finally arrives, you are ready to receive it with gratitude, not arrogance. Think of the seed beneath the soil. It is buried unseen in darkness. For a long time it appears lifeless, but within that unseen stillness, growth is happening, roots are forming, strength is developing, and when the time is right, not before it breaks through the surface and blooms. That is what Allah does with you. You may feel buried by your circumstances, but in truth you are being planted. The delay is your growth, the silence is your nourishment. Allah says in the Quran, perhaps you dislike something while it is good for you, and perhaps you love something while it is bad for you, and Allah knows while you do not know. That is the essence of trust, to believe that the one who sees the unseen knows what you cannot. The delay might be saving you from a heartbreak, a downfall, a test you're not ready for. And when the right time comes, when your heart has learned what it needed to learn, the doors that once felt locked will open effortlessly, and you will understand why the wait was necessary. Do not let impatience steal your peace. You are not forgotten. Every tear, every sleepless night, every whisper of Ya Allah is being heard. The response may not always come in the form you expect, but it will come sometimes through protection, sometimes through redirection, sometimes through something better than what you asked for. Allah never withholds except to give greater, and when He delays, it is only to deliver at the most perfect moment. The Prophet said, Know that what has passed you by was never meant for you, and what has reached you was never going to miss you. Reflect on that truth when you feel impatient. Your destiny is written with precision. The timing of your provision, your success, your healing, all of it has been decreed. The pen has dried. So instead of worrying about what hasn't arrived, focus on preparing your heart to receive it when it does. The greatest test of faith is not in hardship itself, but in waiting with grace. It's easy to trust Allah when everything is unfolding smoothly. The real test is when the doors are still closed, and yet your heart continues to whisper, "I know my Lord is near." It's when you continue to pray with the same sincerity on the 100th night as you did on the first. That constancy, that unwavering trust, is what elevates you spiritually. Every delay carries a divine lesson. It teaches you detachment, that your reliance should not be on outcomes but on Allah Himself. It teaches you gratitude, that blessings delayed are still blessings, only hidden for now. It teaches you humility, that no matter how much you plan, Allah's wisdom is greater. And it teaches you peace, the kind that comes only from complete surrender. So, when life seems to slow down, when your du'as appear unanswered, remember, Allah's plan is never late. His timing is precise, His wisdom infinite. You may not see the full picture yet, but every piece is being placed perfectly. The moment that feels delayed today will one day make perfect sense, and your heart will whisper with tears of gratitude, "Subhanallah, this was exactly what I needed." And when that moment comes, you will understand that Allah was never denying you, He was protecting you, preparing you, and positioning you for something far greater than you could imagine. Until then, trust His timing, even in the delay. Walk silently with sincerity. In a world where everyone is trying to be seen, where every act is shared, every intention displayed, and every moment broadcasted, the beauty of quiet sincerity has become rare. But the most powerful growth is the one that happens unseen deep within the heart, between you and Allah alone. The truest transformations don't need to be announced. They are felt by the soul and witnessed by the Almighty. When you walk silently, your footsteps echo in the heavens. When you act sincerely, your name is remembered where it truly matters in the sight of Allah. You don't need to prove your purity to people. You don't need to explain your intentions to the world. The one who created your heart already knows it. People see your surface. Allah sees your struggle. The world might overlook your quiet efforts, but Allah records each one with mercy. Every hidden tear, every unspoken prayer, every unseen sacrifice, all of it is known to Him. And on the day when secrets are laid bare, you will find those quiet moments shining brighter than the loudest declarations. Sincerity is not about perfection, it's about direction. It's about constantly realigning your heart back to Allah whenever it starts seeking approval elsewhere. It's about doing good even when no one is watching. When you give charity, let it be between you and your Lord. When you pray, let it be for His pleasure alone. When you help someone, do it not for recognition, but because you see a reflection of your own need in theirs. The Prophet said, "Actions are but by intentions." This simple truth defines the entire journey of a believer. A small act done sincerely can outweigh a mountain of deeds done for attention. Walking silently means allowing your actions to speak for you. There is a quiet dignity in humility. The one who walks softly on the earth, seeking no praise, receives honor from Allah Himself. The Quran describes the servants of the Most Merciful as those who walk humbly, whose presence brings peace, not pride. To walk silently with sincerity is to detach your worth from the applause of others and anchor it in the acceptance of Allah. It's to know that your success is not measured by recognition, but by righteousness. The truth is, sincerity is tested most in silence. When no one claps, when no one sees, when no one appreciates, do you still continue? That is when your intention is purified. That is when your deeds are no longer tainted by the need for validation. It's easy to be kind when others are watching. It's harder when no one is there to thank you. Yet it's in those unseen moments that your soul grows closest to Allah, because sincerity thrives where ego cannot survive. Walking silently also means not rushing to defend yourself when misunderstood. Sometimes the most sincere hearts are the most misjudged. People will misinterpret your quietness as arrogance, your patience as weakness, your intentions as manipulation. But remember, you are not here to be understood by everyone, you are here to be accepted by Allah. He sees beyond the noise, beyond the rumors, beyond the surface, so let your silence be your protection and let your sincerity be your response. There is immense peace in letting your actions speak louder than your words. You don't need to tell people you've changed, your behavior will show it. You don't need to declare your purity, your patience will reveal it. Growth doesn't need an audience, it needs consistency. The tree doesn't announce when it grows. It simply reaches upward quietly, day by day, until its shade becomes a refuge for others. Be like that tree deeply rooted in faith, quietly growing toward the light, bearing fruit when the time is right. Every act of goodness done in silence is a seed planted in the unseen garden of your hereafter. Allah waters it with His mercy, nourishes it with His love, and multiplies it beyond what you can imagine. You may forget your deed, but He never does. You may think it was small, but He sees its sincerity. So, don't belittle your efforts just because they are unnoticed. The unseen good you do is more valuable than the praise you could ever receive. The heart that walks silently is the heart that knows contentment. It doesn't compete, it doesn't compare, it doesn't crave acknowledgement. It simply strives, it gives without expecting, forgives without announcing, prays without showing, and smiles without reason. Such a heart is at peace because it knows Allah is enough. When you stop seeking approval from creation, you begin to feel the sweetness of being seen by the Creator. That is the essence of serenity. Let your deeds be like the moon shining quietly in the darkness. It doesn't make noise, it simply reflects light. When you walk silently with sincerity, you become a source of calm for others. Your humility teaches without words, your patience inspires without speeches, and your gentleness heals without demands. This is how true change happens, not through noise, but through presence. Never underestimate what Allah can do with a sincere heart. Even the smallest effort done purely for His sake can change your destiny. The world celebrates outward success, but Allah elevates inward sincerity. When your heart beats with pure intention, every step you take becomes an act of worship. You begin to see life differently, not as a race for recognition, but as a journey toward nearness to Allah. There is wisdom in silence and beauty in sincerity. The louder you become, the easier it is to lose the essence of your intention. But when you quiet your heart, you can hear the whisper of guidance that was always there. Allah's light is not found in the noise of attention, but in the stillness of devotion. That is where faith deepens, where character strengthens, and where peace begins. So, walk silently. Let your journey be between you and the one who gave it to you. Don't rush to announce what Allah is still perfecting within you. Keep your deeds sincere, your heart humble, and your faith steady. The world may never see the full extent of your struggle, but Allah does. And when you walk silently with sincerity, every unseen step is a step toward His mercy. And when your heart wonders if anyone notices, remind it gently Allah always sees. Let go and let Allah. You will never find peace while you are trying to control everything around you. The more you cling, the heavier life feels. The more you plan, the more anxious you become. The more you try to shape outcomes, the more restless your soul grows. There is a deep and liberating truth in surrender, the kind that comes when you finally realize that nothing in this world moves without the will of Allah. You may struggle, you may strive, but the ultimate control has never been yours. The moment you accept that, the chains of worry begin to break, and peace begins to flow into your heart. Allah says in the Quran, "And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him." There is no greater assurance than that. The one who created the stars, who commands the winds, who brings life to the dead earth, He is the same one who watches over you. So why hold on so tightly to what was never in your hands? Why lose sleep over matters already written by the pen that never errs? The storms in your life were decreed long before you faced them, and so was the calm that will follow. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means handing over your affairs to the one who can carry them better than you ever could. It means freeing your heart from the illusion of control and trusting the divine wisdom behind every twist in your story. When you place your trust in people, disappointment follows. When you place your trust in yourself, exhaustion follows. But when you place your trust in Allah, serenity follows. Because He never fails, He never forgets, and He never leaves you alone. Through dua comes strength. Every time your heart feels heavy, every time fear whispers that you are alone, lift your hands and speak to the one who is closer to you than your jugular vein. Tell him your worries, not because he doesn't know them, but because speaking to him heals you. The Prophet taught us that dua is the weapon of the believer. It is not a ritual, it is a lifeline. It connects the weakness of the servant to the power of the Lord. The moment you raise your hands, the moment your tears fall, you are seen, you are heard, you are understood. The beauty of dua is that it shifts your heart from panic to peace. It reminds you that your story is still being written by the one who loves you the most. Sometimes the answer comes quickly, sometimes it comes slowly, but every dua is responded to in one of three ways. Allah gives you what you asked for. He delays it for a time that is better, or He replaces it with something more beneficial. Either way, you win because His plan is always perfect, even when your heart struggles to see it. Through Tawakkul comes calm. To trust Allah completely is to breathe even in uncertainty, to walk even in darkness, to smile even in trial. Tawakkul is not laziness, it's effort wrapped in faith. You tie your camel, but you know the protection comes from Allah. You apply for the job, but you know the provision is from Allah. You seek the cure, but you know healing is from Allah. You do your part sincerely and then release the outcome with peace. That is tawakkul. It is doing your best without fearing the rest. Life will always test your ability to let go. You will face moments when you feel powerless, when everything you built begins to fall apart, when the people you love walk away, when your plans collapse without reason. In those moments, the heart wants to control, to fix, to grasp. But sometimes the best thing you can do is step back and whisper, "Ya Allah, I leave it in your hands." You will be amazed at how light the soul becomes when it stops resisting Allah's decree. Letting go is not weakness, it is worship. It is saying, "I trust you even when I don't understand you." It's believing that the same Allah who brought you this far will not abandon you now. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment is a sign of His wisdom. Perhaps the door you're crying for would have led you astray. Perhaps the person you miss was removed to protect your heart. Perhaps the hardship you face is building the strength you prayed for. Allah's mercy often hides in what feels like loss. The believer who truly lets go begins to see Allah in everything. They see His mercy in closed doors, His love in unanswered prayers, His wisdom in detours. They stop fighting fate and start flowing with faith. They know that if something was meant for them, it would never miss them, and if it missed them, it was never meant for them. They understand that Allah's plan is not random, it is tailored with precision to nurture their soul. Letting go also means forgiving others, forgiving yourself. Holding on to anger, regret, or guilt is another form of control. You replay the past hoping to change it, but it remains the same. Allah invites you to release it. He says, "Do not despair of the mercy of Allah. Indeed, Allah forgives all sins." When you let go of resentment, your heart becomes lighter, softer, closer to Him. You stop trying to fix what is gone and start trusting in what lies ahead. Every hardship you face is an invitation to surrender more deeply. Sometimes Allah closes every door until you have no choice but to turn to Him. And when you finally do, you realize that He was the only door that mattered all along. That is when true peace begins, not when life becomes easy, but when your heart learns to rely entirely on Allah. So breathe. Whatever you are holding onto, the worry, the fear, the regret, release it into His care. Whisper your concern in sujood and then rise with trust. Your heart was never meant to carry the weight of the world. It was meant to rest in remembrance of Allah. He is Al-Latif, the most subtle. He is Al-Hakim, the most wise. He is Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. He knows how to bring beauty from your pain, strength from your weakness, and peace from your surrender. The moment you truly let go, you will feel it, that stillness that cannot be explained, that calm that cannot be shaken. It is the peace that comes from knowing you were never alone, and you never will be. The same Allah who wrote your struggle has already written your relief. The same one who allowed the storm will send the calm. So, let go, breathe and believe, and when your heart trembles with uncertainty, remind it gently Allah is in control. Protect your light from the noise. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your peace is the most precious gift you possess. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not every voice deserves space in your heart. And not every situation deserves your reaction. There comes a time when you must guard your light the way a traveler guards his flame in the wind, shielding it gently, carefully, so that it continues to burn softly but steadily, no matter how fierce the storm around it becomes. Your light is your faith, your sincerity, your inner calm that connects you to Allah. It is the quiet radiance that comes from contentment with His decree, from a heart purified of bitterness and noise. But that light can be dimmed when you give too much of yourself to people, places, and thoughts that do not feed your soul. The Prophet said, "Part of a person's perfection in Islam is leaving that which does not concern him." These are words of divine wisdom, an instruction to filter the world, to know when to engage and when to walk away, to understand that not every battle is worth your peace. Protecting your light begins with silence. Not every thought needs to be shared, not every injustice needs to be argued. Sometimes your quiet withdrawal from unnecessary noise is a form of strength. The world thrives on reaction, but your faith grows in restraint. You do not need to attend every conflict you are invited to, nor prove yourself in every conversation. When you stop reacting to everything around you, you begin to hear something greater within you, the calm voice of your heart remembering Allah. There is wisdom in distance. Not everyone who approaches you comes with good intentions. Some people drain your spirit with their negativity, gossip, and envy. You can be kind without being accessible, compassionate without being consumed. The believer's heart is gentle, but it is also guarded. You are responsible for the peace Allah has placed within you. Do not allow anyone's bitterness to extinguish it. When someone brings you drama, respond with silence. When someone mocks your peace, respond with dua. That is how you protect your light, with grace, not aggression, with calm, not confrontation. Your time and energy are blessings, and blessings must be protected. When you spend them on matters that do not concern you, what people are doing, what they are saying, who they are becoming, you deplete your soul. Life is too short to carry unnecessary burdens. Focus on your path, your worship, your growth. The more you turn inward towards self-purification, the less noise can reach you. You cannot control the world, but you can control how much of it you allow into your heart. Even the prophet, the most patient of all, would withdraw from the noise. He would retreat to the cave of Hira to reflect, to be alone with his Lord. Solitude is not loneliness, it is sacred connection. Sometimes you need to step away from people to remember who you are, to reset your spirit, to listen to the quiet whisper of your faith reminding you, Allah is enough. Protecting your light means prioritizing these moments of stillness, where remembrance replaces distraction and reflection replaces reaction. Your peace is not found in pleasing everyone. It is found in pleasing Allah. When you try to meet the expectations of people, you will lose yourself. But when you strive to please your Creator, you gain everything. Guard your intentions from the desire for validation. Do your good deeds quietly. Serve others for His sake alone. Every sincere action shines like a light that Allah Himself will protect. When you act for Him, no criticism can break you, and no praise can inflate you. Your light becomes self-sustaining, fueled by His mercy. Noise also comes in the form of comparison. You scroll, you watch, you compare, and slowly your gratitude fades. You start feeling small, unseen, left behind. But remember, Allah's timing for you is unique. The blessing you envy in someone else's life might not be what your soul needs. Protect your light by appreciating your portion. Focus on your journey without measuring it against another's. What is written for you will reach you even if the world stands against it, and what is not meant for you will never be yours, even if the world tries to deliver it. That realization brings peace deeper than any worldly achievement ever could. Sometimes the noise comes from within, the whispers of worry, regret, guilt, and fear. These inner voices are louder than the world outside. To protect your light, you must also protect your thoughts. Fill your heart with remembrance. Recite Quran, make dua, seek forgiveness, and remind yourself that Allah's mercy outweighs every mistake you've made. The more you remember Him, the quieter your anxieties become. The more you focus on His greatness, the smaller your problems feel. Be mindful of where your energy goes. Every conversation, every engagement, every reaction is an investment of your spiritual light. Choose wisely where to place it. Do not waste it on arguments that lead nowhere, on people who find pleasure in provocation, or on situations that rob you of gratitude. Redirect your energy toward worship, toward kindness, toward what nourishes your faith. Every time you say Subhanallah instead of responding in anger, you protect your light. Every time you forgive when you could have retaliated, you protect your light. Every time you choose peace over pride, you protect your light. The Prophet said, "The strong person is not the one who can overpower others, but the one who controls himself when angry." True strength is spiritual control, the ability to preserve your calm when everything around you calls for reaction. When you learn to protect your peace this way, your life changes. You begin to feel lighter, calmer, closer to Allah. The world may still be noisy, but inside there is silence, and in that silence there is strength. Your purpose is sacred. It is tied to your peace. When you allow negativity to distract you, you drift away from your purpose. The more you protect your peace, the clearer your path becomes. You begin to see with the eyes of faith, not frustration. You stop chasing recognition and start chasing contentment. That is the beauty of protecting your light. It doesn't just save your energy, it illuminates your purpose. Every believer carries a light within, placed by Allah Himself. It is the light of faith, the light that guides through darkness, the light that distinguishes truth from falsehood. This light must be protected through remembrance, humility, and sincerity. Because the moment you allow the noise of the world to cloud it, you lose the clarity of your purpose. And when you protect it, you not only guide yourself but become a source of light for others. So, be mindful. Guard your peace like a treasure. Guard your energy like an amana. The world may call you distant, quiet, or detached, but Allah knows that you are simply preserving the serenity He gifted you. Let them talk, let them assume. You continue to walk your path in stillness and strength. For when you protect your light, you protect your purpose, and when your purpose is pure, Allah Himself becomes your guide. And when your heart grows weary from the noise, remind it softly your light belongs to Allah, and He will never let it fade. Until we meet again, my brothers and sisters, remember your peace is sacred, your soul is precious, and Allah is always near. Keep your heart sincere, your faith steady, and your tongue in remembrance. May Allah bless you, protect your light, and guide your steps always. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so together we continue spreading peace, wisdom, and hope. Jazak Allahu khairan, wassalamu alaikum.